So this leads us to another view. So one of the first things we need to accept is that life is in the nature of suffering. And then we can relax. We don't have to fight it. Okay? The next thing we need to do is we need to then look at our problems and work out which are our real problems. Okay, so every day we have all sorts of difficulties, don't we? You know, from big problems to small things. You know? To big bills coming, cars breaking down, or people becoming sick, our own body letting us down, etc. So we have a variety of problems coming at us every day. And it doesn't matter how powerful we are in our material world. We cannot stand up and demand our problems to stop. Okay? It just won't happen. You know, it's like standing up in front of the ocean, isn't it? Like that king, I can't remember his name, who stood up in front of the ocean, put up his hand and said, "I'm so powerful, I command you waves to stop." And of course he got soaked. Okay? And we're like that, you know? We keep wanting our problems to stop and using all sorts of methods, but they don't. They just keep rolling. So we need to look at our problems now and understand them correctly. So this is another view that Buddha taught. We need to understand correctly what is our problem. So if my car breaks down, okay, which cars are always breaking down, aren't they? You know, even if you've got a brand new car from a showroom, it doesn't take long, especially not nowadays, because nothing's built to last very long, is it? So it will eventually break down. So there's nothing, you know, in the car that's permanent, that can last indefinitely. So it's definitely at some point going to break down. Okay, anyway, we're in it, we're driving it, it's broken down. You think, oh, I've got a problem. I've got a problem here. Yeah? Someone says, well, what is your problem? Right? And you think, well, my car's broken down, there's a problem. Right? So we would all agree, wouldn't we? It's a problem, your car's broken down. But actually, there's two situations there, there's two problems. One is your car's broken down. Okay? Definitely. But how do we react to that car breaking down? You know, now, I could get really angry with the car. I can get out of the car, I can kick it. Any of you are old enough to know I could be like John Cleese and jump on top of it. You know, I have a moment with the car. I can cry. You know, sometimes you can when your car breaks down, can't you? You know, you can cry because you just feel it's the last straw that my car's broken down. And in that moment, you've got two problems. You've got the breaking down of your car, but you've also got your reaction to it. Because the breaking down of the car isn't painful, but your feelings are. At that moment, your anger, your frustration. So you've got two problems. Now, if my car breaks down, and I deal with it with a peaceful mind, I just think, well, you know, cars break down. It was inevitable. This car was always going to break down, and now it has. Okay? I deal with it with a peaceful mind. I only have one problem. My car's broken down. Okay? This is what modern Buddhism is about. It's about looking at the real problem. What causes you the greatest difficulty? The breaking down of the car, or your experience, your internal experience? It can be like if you're sick. You know, I remember recently, well, a couple of years ago, having to go into hospital. And I met two ladies. You know, one lady, very, very upset, very angry. Okay? She was in hospital, she wasn't well, she wasn't happy about it. She didn't like the nurses. I don't think she liked me very much next to her. She didn't like the bed. She didn't like the treatment. She didn't like anything. She gets herself really, really, really wound up. Another lady, not very well. But she was so appreciative of what people were doing for her. She had an acceptance of her illness, understanding that that's what happens to us. We get sick. This body wears out, whether we like it or not. It breaks down just like the car. She had a peaceful mind. So for her there was one problem. Her body was sick, but her mind was at peace. For the other lady, she had two problems. Well, she had three actually, because she had an angry mind, she had a sick body, and nobody wanted to come and treat her because she was being so horrid. Right? Whereas the other lady, she rang a buzzer and the nurses would come. So it's not easy to distinguish when we're in the thick of it. When we're really in the thick of it, it's not always easy to distinguish the two problems, our inner experience and our actual problem that's arising. But it doesn't matter whether we get angry or whether we are at peace in ourselves. Our body's still sick. Our car's broken down. Our husband's left us. Whatever the problem is appearing to be. But if we deal with it with a peaceful mind, it will be less painful for us. And we only have one problem. If I was to say, okay, I've got a machine up here, and I would like to attach it to one of your heads, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to project all your thoughts up here for everybody to see. Right? Who would volunteer for that? We wouldn't, would we? Why not? Because we can't predict what's going to come up on that screen. Can we? We don't know. Don't you think sometimes your mind just shocks you? Why am I thinking that? And then that thought leads to your mouth saying something. Why have I said that? And then we do stuff and we think, why did I do that? But if you think, every moment your mind is changing, isn't it? And it's producing all sorts of different thoughts and feelings. So if you could give all of those thoughts and feelings a visual image, and we popped it up here for everybody to see, it would be a shock, wouldn't it, to the people who know you? Because they don't really know you at all, do they? Because we don't know ourselves. Because if we really knew ourselves, we would be able to predict every moment, wouldn't we, what we were thinking and feeling. We'd be able to say, right, today is Tuesday, I will have a happy day, all day. Come Wednesday, I think I'll be grumpy for 2 hours in the morning, followed by a little jealousy, wouldn't we? Like a weather forecast. But we can't, can we? It just comes. We can plan to meet someone, have a nice meal, spend some time with them. We sit down, we look at them, we hate them. It's true, isn't it? We don't want to. It can be our husband. Often is our husband. It can be our mother, our father, our children. And we think, this isn't what I planned. And it's costing me over £100 for a miserable evening. We go on holiday the same. You come back miserable, you think, I wasted that holiday being grumpy the whole time. That wasn't what I planned. So the mind is unpredictable. So the people around us are the same. It's not just you, it's all of us. None of us wants to put our thoughts and feelings up on a screen for people to look at. Because we're all unpredictable. And we've all got problems and difficulties that we're battling with. And so when we look out, we need to see that in others. And so if they come to work in the morning and they're grumpy, rather than taking it personally, we think, they must have had a bad morning. They're obviously suffering, because happy people don't yell at me like that. Okay? Happy people don't do stuff like that. Before me is a person who is suffering. And that's really sad. And our mind should be moved, and we think, I'm not going to get angry back with them. Why do I want to increase their suffering? Okay? And so compassion protects us. It's a very, very beautiful mind, and it's such an active mind. You know, sometimes people get confused and they think that in order to be active, we need anger to move us. But anger does create movement, but generally it gives rise to destruction. But if you get a really powerful, compassionate mind, it can change the world. If everybody in this world started to view each other with a mind of compassion, really seeing the suffering and not wanting to increase the suffering of others. You know, if just for 1 hour, we had a compassion hour in Bristol, and everybody generated a mind of compassion, and everywhere you went, all you were met was by compassionate people, and you developed compassion towards them. Just think what that hour would be like. It'd be phenomenal. There'd be no arguing, no fighting. People would be genuinely kind. So compassion protects our mind. So throughout our day, we need to try to remember these views. This is modern Buddhism. Accepting that we are going to have difficulties. You know, why do we think that tomorrow is going to be problem-free? It's not. Okay, so we accept that. Every day, from now until I die, I'll have problems. Okay. I need to develop the inner strength and resources to deal with those problems. Okay? I need to see these problems as part of my training. I need to develop positive minds towards them, so that as my suffering increases, my mind gets stronger. We need to contemplate the preciousness of this human life. And we need to develop compassion towards all other living beings around us who are experiencing the same problems as we are. So this is modern Buddhism in daily life. And we can do this with our families, we can do this with our friends, we can do this in our workplace, we can do this on our own. But we don't need to separate from our world, our people, to practice Buddhism. However, in order to make our mind powerful and strong enough to be able to do this in our daily life, we need to develop a meditation practice. Okay, so it's two-pronged. So one, daily life, engaging in our normal activities, with developing special views. Then, when we're on our own, we take time to discover for ourselves the power of our own mind, and to mix our mind with virtuous or peaceful thoughts that empower us and make our mind stronger, so that when we come out of meditation, we're able to deal with whatever is going to appear for us in that day.